Hey, what's going on, guys? Trent Talks Ball here tonight. I'm joined by Alex. He has a YouTube channel called BigDonch. And today we're going to be talking about the Steelers and their 2025 draft. This on another episode of. So, in the first round, the Steelers took Derek Harmon. Now, my quick thoughts on him is that this is the Cam Hayward replacement. And I'm honestly pretty okay. I'm okay with this pick. This is a good, definite need for the Steelers moving forward, but I was kind of surprised the Steelers didn't fall into the quarterback trap.
Well, first to address the defensive tackle, this selection, this player, we did need defensive line. We were struggling against the run for quite some time now up the middle. We have one of the best defenses in the league, especially around the edge, but always up the middle. We struggled. We also gave some time to QBs last year, which I didn't like. Once again, focusing in the pocket on the middle. So I am happy that we added the defensive line. You mentioned a replacement for Cameron Hayward. Yeah, that's exactly a part of what it was. Cam Hayward's 36 years old, so he'll be out anytime soon. He's not slowing down, which is weird, right? He's playing still top-notch football, but once again, 36 years old. Derek Carmen, a very good, tough player from Oregon. I really was happy with that, adding to that depth that we need at the defensive line, the interior defensive line to really help that run. So I am happy with Derek Carmen. You're exactly right, though, replacing Cam Hayward. Now with the quarterback talks, there was a lot of rumors, of course, with quarterback talks because we lost Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, and now going into the season, assuming we don't sign Aaron Rodgers, well, we're stuck with Mason Rudolph. And people are saying, well, yeah, use that as a bridge quarterback. Some people are saying the bridge quarterback. Some people are saying that we could actually win in playoffs, make the Super Bowl with Mason Rudolph. I think this year we're not winning the Super Bowl no matter what. So I'm happy with sticking with Mason Rudolph, potentially signing Aaron Rodgers, doing things of that nature. Not drafting Shador Sanders was actually a good decision in my book. Not drafting Jackson Dart was a good decision in my book. Not drafting any quarterback first round was a good decision in my book. I think there could be better quarterbacks next year in the draft. Shador Sanders saved the headache. I knew we weren't going to draft him. I knew, things weren't, I knew the Steelers were smarter than that. So yeah, we didn't draft him. I'm happy with that. We drafted defensive line, boosted that depth in the defensive line and the interior. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, definitely. Not taking Shadur seems to have been a popular choice among the NFL teams this year. And the Steelers did take Will Howard in the sixth, so there is a new quarterback in the quarterback room. But I do agree, Mason Rudolph has been in the system before, and if anyone can run Mike Tomlin's show, Mason Rudolph is the guy.
Yeah, exactly what Mason Rudolph. I think he's a good bridge quarterback just to get us some wins, keep us relevant. We drafted Will Howard in the sixth round. That's correct. And I'm okay with that because that's a sixth round pick. I'm okay with wasting a sixth round pick on a national champion who could have the potential to develop. I'm fine with that, right? If Shador Sanders was in the sixth round available, I would actually be kind of okay with that. So it's not really the problem of I don't want this player because of this and that. It's really because we just didn't need him in the first couple of draft picks, first couple of rounds. We needed other areas. Draft a quarterback later on in the sixth or seventh round, I'm okay with that. Will Howard was actually a perfect quarterback to be available in the sixth round.
Yep, definitely. And the next draft pick I'd like to talk about is Caleb Johnson, which he's a running back from Iowa, and the Steelers drafted him, and I feel like he is the next starting running back. I feel like Jalen Warren will start the year, but I feel like Caleb Johnson they might be looking at to take Warren's place and fill the shoes Najee Harris left since he became a Los Angeles Charger.
Absolutely correct. I'm upset that we lost Najee Harris. I've always liked Najee Harris. He was always consistent. Ever since he's been in the league, he put up over 1,000 yards. Very tough, healthy running back. Jalen Warren going into this season before the draft was going to be our starting running back. We saw a small sample size of Jalen Warren. When he's in there, he's very explosive, very tough running back, but we didn't get to see much of him, and he is a bit undersized. Though I like having him on the team, I'm not too confident as him being our RB1. Caleb Johnson. I was actually hoping for Cam Scatabo. I think he's more of a tough running back as well, but can't complain with Caleb Johnson as well. Caleb, very versatile running back, receiving and rushing. He dominated last year with Iowa being a second team All-American running back. So I'm happy to see we draft him in the third round. I think he could definitely be a lot of potential for the Steelers and drafting a running back anywhere. they could be just as good as a first round pick, really. Running backs are so easily replaceable. There's so much running backs out there that could be very good. We see a lot of undrafted running backs. I mean, Jalen Warren himself is an undrafted running back, and he's very good, of course, like I'm saying. But Caleb Johnson being a third round pick, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, Caleb Johnson definitely feels like a very good pick. There's a lot of good running backs in this draft class, and you could honestly be happy with almost any of them. So I think the Steelers will still have a very good run game, whether it's Warren or Caleb Johnson in the backfield. Then moving down the boards to some of the later rounds, the main thing the Steelers addressed, of course, were defensive line. They brought in Yaya Black and Jack Sawyer as defensive end and defensive tackle, and that I feel like they're shoring up the D line, getting some depth pieces in case injuries occur. I, that's sort of my feeling on that. But what are your thoughts?
So yeah, YA Black, I'm happy with him drafting him, but there's not much to say on him and just really adding depth, right? But Jack Sawyer, I'm happy with him. Very good player. I mean, I'm watching Ohio State. How could you not? They won the national championship. They were so dominant last year, and then being a Notre Dame fan, watched him in the national championship. Jack Sawyer's a very good player, but a bit questionable to draft another edge player when we have former defensive player of the year, TJ Watt. We have Alex Highsmith. We have Nick Herbig. And then we have Jack Sawyer. So it adds more depth to the edge. I think he's going to be a very good special teams player this year. But I guess it's more of just best player available that they picked. I'm happy with it. Definitely a good player. I'm just a bit surprised, right? We're going to be very stacked. We have no excuse not to be top three in the league next year for sacks with how deep our edge rushers are. So I'm definitely happy with Jack Sawyer and then Wyatt Black. Happy more depth to the defensive line.
For the last two draft picks, the Steelers took Carson Bruner from Washington, and they took Dante Ken, quarterback from Central Michigan, which I like those as more like I said, like they're going to be the depth pieces that could potentially develop for the future of the Steelers. And because the Steelers already have a lot of good pieces at corner and linebacker. So that's my thoughts
Yeah.
on them.
Yeah, when you draft these defensive players late in the draft, they're not like, the GM's not this goes for any NFL team. They're not expecting them to be the future. They're not expecting them to be the next man up, second string linebacker, things like that. They're mostly like to fill in for special teams, right? They're probably not. I mean, there's a high chance that they might not even make the 53-man roster by the time the NFL season, especially Dante Ken. But hey, maybe he's a good athlete. Maybe the NFL or maybe the GMC, he's a good athlete. He's very physical. He's a good person to be around. Well, we'll keep him on the team. He could be very good on special teams. And then he could probably make a career out of special teams. He could make a career on the practice squad and things like that. It's good to just have good athletic guys around because it helps boost around the whole entire team.
I like honestly what the Steelers do. I feel like they had a very good draft. They addressed a lot of things in this draft, and they sort of set themselves up to sign Aaron Rodgers because they didn't really focus on bringing in a quarterback at all during the draft, which plays into the whole rumors that they are going to sign Aaron Rodgers eventually. And when Aaron Rodgers comes in, he will probably become the starter immediately. I don't think the Steelers will have any illusions that Mason Rudolph or Will Howard are going to be the guy in 2025, which if Rodgers takes the Steelers into the playoffs and goes on a deep run, that's great. But if he doesn't, and that's a big if, he sets the Steelers up potentially to actually take a quarterback somewhat early in 2026.
It's a bit confusing. I mean, you're definitely right. And it's just confusing for us because, first of all, I'm getting frustrated. I'm sure the Steelers are getting frustrated, the front office. Like, what is Rodgers doing? He's holding us up. But I mean, every day I'm hearing rumors that a signing can be coming soon. I think we are going to sign Rodgers. I mean, he wants to play. And what other team in the NFL would use Rodgers besides the Steelers, right? I can't think of
Yeah.
any team in the NFL that could use Rodgers. So I think the Steelers are going to sign Rodgers, and I think it's probably going to be a 1 year deal. And then we're probably going to go all in with Rodgers. We're probably going to try to go as far as we could with Rodgers. Why would you sign a 1 year deal to a veteran quarterback, pay him a lot of money just to rebuild? That makes no sense. So we're definitely going to go all in if we sign him. If for some
Yeah.
reason he does not sign, okay, it puts us in a tough situation because I think we could win a lot of games with Mason Rudolph. When I say a lot of games, I mean like 8 or 9, which is a lot for Mason Rudolph. But then that
Yeah.
puts us in another tough situation that the Steelers have been facing for like 20 years. Tough draft picks, tough draft selections. I don't like the idea of tanking, but if we're just going to stick with Rudolph and say, we'll just go with him, draft the quarterback next year in the draft. Well, I think Rudolph could actually win his games and get us to 8 or 9 wins. If he gets us to 8 or 9 wins, well, now that's going to put us at like drafting like 20th now in the NFL draft. That leaves us with a tough situation to get that good quarterback, right? I don't want to be stuck with a Kenny Pickett like a couple years ago when we drafted him like 21st overall, I think it was, right? We were bad the following year, but good enough to put us in a bad draft position. And we ended up having to get stuck with Kenny Pickett. I know there wasn't much better quarterbacks in that draft, but I'm just not trying to miss out on Archie Manning. I'm not trying to miss out on other quarterbacks that are very good just because we did enough. We did good enough with Mason Rudolph. So it puts us in tough situations.
Yeah, definitely. And that's sort of where the Steelers have been. You're exactly right since Big Ben's retirement because they have been just good enough with some mediocre quarterbacks to continue the struggle of being in that like mid-20s draft pick range. And while that does mean they've been successful in winning games, it's not necessarily like they're doing winning those games and going very far in the playoffs. But hopefully this year decides one way or the other. Do they go really far, or will they be set up to potentially get one of those top prospects
Yeah.
like Arch Manning in 2026?
See, I think Arch Manning, if he even declares, which there's rumors that he might stay another year, which I can't blame him either with the NIL money, but um, if he does declare, he's going to be the number one overall. And I mean, we'd have to suck really bad or draft or trade a lot of stuff. We'd have to trade TJ. We'd have to trade George Pickens. We have to trade so many draft picks to get that number one overall. Because if Arch declares, like I said, he's going number one. So I don't think we're going to get Archie Manning. I don't think that's as realistic unless he absolutely flunks this next year, upcoming year in Texas. But I don't know. Like you were saying as well, like if we're gonna get these 9 wins or 9 to 10 wins and be mediocre, well, let's have something to show for it. Okay, the past couple of years we've been getting these 9 to 10 wins, making playoffs. We had nothing to show for it. Let's win a division. Let's win a playoff game. We haven't won a playoff game since Obama was president. Okay, it sucks as a Steeler fan because you kind of know when they make a playoff game, you know what's gonna happen. Okay, Mike Tomlin hasn't won a playoff game in almost 10 years now. 0-6 in his last 6 playoff appearances. Like 4 of them were blowouts. One of them was a choke against the Jaguars. So it's just the same stuff every year, mediocrity. And it's hard to just get out of that divot. But we can't get out of this divot when we've been staying mediocre. You gotta take a few steps back before you go forward. We've just been staying the same. We take a few steps back after Ben retired, and then we're come back right to where we were when Ben was still playing in his last couple of years, mediocre. Okay, it's just been tough. I think if we get Rodgers, I think we're going to be the best we've been in 2 or 3 years. I think Rodgers gives us the best chance to go deep in playoffs, Super Bowl, not so much, but to get that final playoff game that we've been winning forever, I think Rodgers could do that. Mason Rudolph, no, but it is what it is.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll see what turns out, but the first next step that has to happen is Rodgers choosing whether he goes to the Steelers, another team, or retires.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like down below. Go check out Donch's channel, and I'll see you next time.
See ya.